Okay, I'm out in the garden again today. This is the perfect day to vlog. I just got a new tripod, so we'll be playing with that. The weather is amazing. It's like gonna be 70 degrees to get today. Not a lot of wind. I have to unscrew this and get you guys in there. Hold on. It rained again last night. Not a whole lot. We've been getting a 1/4 inch here, a couple hundreds there. I need to stop overprotecting my garden, and we need to take away a couple of these milk jugs. You can kind of see them here and there. I have all those posts all set up. I'll just kind of show you around the garden and give you a little update on everything. What my future plans are for preventing things like funguses and all that, because I wasn't prepared for this. I was like literally expecting another drought of a garden season like it was last year. So I was just planning for that in my head, AKA watering my garden religiously, having to check on it constantly, not having to worry about fungus or bugs or anything like that. And now I have a whole new set of things to worry about. So we'll do that. I think I just find stuff to worry about, to be honest, at this point. I want to get all of this out, but if you watched what I did when I was trying to protect this from the hail, I took a bunch of mud and dirt and I packed around the edges, and I don't think I want that much mud and dirt around there, so I'm gonna kind of try to scoop it out of there. These are just my favorite pepper plants. They're kind of exotics or habaneros or something that doesn't grow very easily out here, so I just didn't want to risk losing them to some hail. And guess what? We never got any hail, and I am gonna cross my fingers while I say that because I don't want to jinx myself. Oh, that is a beautiful plant. Oh my gosh. You don't need to go in there, ma'am. No! See, having cats is just like, yeah, exactly. That's what it's like. So I think that one's pretty good like that. I just pulled out a chunk out of that one. So we'll just grab some of this mud out of here. There I go, babying everything again. I think I just need to have a kid. I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I just need to have a kid because the way that I care for animals and plants, I think it's just time. Okay, y'all gotta like get off. I can't do this. I can't do this. So you can probably see this. See, this is just not good. It's trying to climb out of here because it's growing a lot. So I did this just to a few plants because they were my favorite plants. You know what's wild about this year is that I haven't turned on my drip system one time since I put those timers on that I showed you. I had more to talk about with those timers. Tomatoes are kind of weird. Of course, peppers like it really dry. You can really dry them out in between waterings, but tomatoes kind of do the same thing. They love water, of course, but it's better to let them try to get water deep down in the roots and try to search for water rather than just making it readily available for them all the time. I learned that the hard way because that is kind of what happens when you get end root rot, I believe is what it's called. I can't remember what it is, but I've had that before, and it just deteriorates your plant, and it's really hard to reverse once it's happening. So really good to make sure your tomato plants dry out pretty good. I'm sorry, little guy. The big guy. You're getting big. Oh my goodness, that's a big guy. Yeah. He was just the healthiest looking plant. So I'll be damned if I lose these really beautiful peppers to a hailstorm. Oh. People always tell me to get gloves, but I honestly think that touching dirt is really healthy, really good for you. We're gonna go look at the little baby volunteer kale plants that came up. Okay, so checking on these plants reminded me to talk about grief a little bit. So the past couple days have been pretty rough for me. The past couple weeks, really. My late husband passed away on June 1st, 2021. So this year was the 2-year anniversary of that. And I told this story on TikTok. I don't know, I guess I'll tell it again. Here's my drip line, okay? You can see that. This is how my little baby kale plants get watered. That was my late husband's name, by the way. And you could see I meant to plant all these here, but apparently I dropped some seeds and I didn't even realize it. And now some unruly little kale plants have sprouted here. So I naturally am going to protect them, and I'm going to water them by hand all year and make sure that they live. A storm came and I was having a mental breakdown because I didn't want them to die. So naturally, like what I do, I panic, and I panicked and put some stakes in the ground to prevent these from blowing, and put a jug over my favorite plant. It kind of just reminded me to talk about the days leading up and the days after it. It is now a couple days after the whole anniversary, and I can see a physical change in me, but throughout my entire day, like randomly, I will think to myself how I felt on this day 2 years ago, and I still can't believe that it's been 2 years. Everybody says that and it's very cliche, but it's very true. Anyway, back to regular scheduled programming. Look at these kale plants. This is so weird because they all must have been planted the same day. The ones on the right are hand planted and the ones on the left are volunteer, and they look bigger and nicer than the other ones. Is that ironic? Yeah, that is kind of ironic, because part of me thinks that kale wanted those planted there for some odd reason, just to be unruly and rude and make me hand water something all year round and make me think of him because it's literally his name. The weeds have grown through the landscaping fabric, but I am so happy that I threw my back out and really worked my butt off to lay all this landscaping fabric and spent the time and the effort and the money and all that, because it is so worth it. The weeds are kind of coming through, but with all this rain that we've had, oh my gosh, I would be living out here weeding like I was last year, and I'm so happy that I don't have to do that, because oh my gosh. Last year I planted tomatoes all along here, so we're kind of rotating crops this year. So okra is here. There's 2 little sets of okra right here, because during the summer we get a south wind, so it would be cool to kind of block the wind from like cucumbers and everything like that. Even though when they get big enough they'll be fine. But what's funny, I just can't bring myself to pick like volunteer things, especially if they're kind of cool. And tomatoes are kind of cool, so I have a little volunteer tomato plant right here and right there, and they're not on a dripper, but I have to hand water these kale plants anyway. I'll show you, hold on. Okay, so look at this one. That's a little tomato plant. I'm not sure which tomato it is, but I kind of want to keep it there and just see what happens. It won't hurt the okra, so I think it'll be worth it to keep it. Then we got one right here. There's the little baby okra plants. I don't know what's eating it or what's going on, but I need to do something about that. I don't know if you can see that. We got a couple little holes in there. But yeah, this is a little tomato plant. I wonder if it's gonna make it. I'm just gonna see what happens. Right here too, here's some little okra plants. I gotta weed around it so that they have a chance and they're not fighting weeds and grass. But here's a little tour. Right behind here, I have all my cucumbers. These are all cucumber plants, and they're going to climb this awesome cattle panel trellis that we made last year. So yeah, cucumbers all along here. I really need to weed, but like I said, it's been raining a lot. Here is a volunteer sugar snap pea, and I'm gonna let him grow along here. He's gonna get plenty of water next to this cucumber. What do you have on your ear? What the heck? I think that she will survive too. Here's a volunteer sunflower. Here's one that I planted that's gonna be like 14 feet tall. Here's another one. Here's some more cucumbers that I just wanted to have here. Here's some volunteer marigolds that are gonna help try to keep the bugs away. Here's some squash and zucchini plants. I like to grow them vertically as well, so that's gonna be really fun to help them grow up this trellis. I think that's more cucumbers and maybe some squash, maybe a butternut squash or something like that. Volunteer, volunteer, all these just came up on their own. Look how big this pumpkin plant is. These are all pumpkins. What I'm thinking is, if you've ever grown pumpkins, you know that they crawl. I put them in the corner of this garden so that I can maybe put a pallet up there and they can climb up and over that fence so that they're not taking over my entire garden. Those are pumpkins, I believe, as well. And then I'm really happy about these. I didn't get a lot of these last year, so now I have like 4 or 5. These are gonna be green beans, yellow pole beans, some green bush beans. Then these were a bunch of little tomatoes that I had extra, and they're looking pretty good. I'm gonna cut all the plastic off of these. This one is kind of janky. It's not very happy, but I don't know. I'm thinking about planting more tomatoes along this strip line because I have extra tomatoes. Oh, I forgot about these. These were some of my extra peppers that I need to take these off of. So I'll come back over here and look how freaky onion plants are. Onion plants, this is a grocery store onion that I planted in the ground, right? It's huge. Look at that weird, that's how it seeds. I've never seen that before. It looks like an alien coming out of like a embryo sac or something. Got our little radishes. I love radishes because they only take 25 days from seed to picking them and eating them, and I love growing them because I love how fast they grow. This is gonna be some, no, there's a cat in there. This is gonna be carrots. They're already starting to, ooh, I need to pick some of these weeds. But yeah, carrots here. Love planting carrots. They're a lot of fun. They're gonna be all different colors and kinds of carrots. Over here is kind of concerning. That's a pepper plant that obviously died, and it's right next to these. I don't know what's going on here. It's not looking very good. I don't know, I can't tell if they're being eaten or if the wind is just ripping them up. But either way, look at this whole row. Those don't look very good. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to spray some diatomaceous earth, I think that's how you say it, all over all my plants to kind of prevent wilt and fungal infections, but we will see. I forgot to show you all my wildflowers that came up. There's a guy who is spraying fertilizer in the field behind our house, but thank you. See you in the next one. Love you. Okay, bye.